All right, welcome. So my name's Clay with Convertibles. We are agency partners with Intelligems, and I am honored today to be joined with Drew, the founder of Intelligems, or the co-founder of Intelligems, and we're going to be walking through this amazing tool that Shopify brands are using to optimize profit, grow revenue, and get a competitive edge on ads. So Drew, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Excited to chat about this.
awesome. Could you tell me a little bit about your background and how Intelligems got started?
Yeah, so I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO. Kind of got to Intelligence through a bit of a winding path. I started my career at McKinsey doing strategy consulting for doing tech for non-technical companies and then sales and go-to-market stuff for tech companies. So a bit of a mix. Ended up following a colleague to a ride-sharing company called Via Transportation, based in New York. Fell backwards into getting to build the dynamic pricing engine there over the course of 4 years. So everything from surge pricing to dynamic promotions, always how do we balance growth and unit economics? And then COVID hit, and me and my main partner on the engineering side there decided, hey, this dynamic pricing stuff is really powerful. Where else can we bring it? We loved how much impact it created. And then we stumbled into e-commerce. We had some friends running stores on Shopify.
Yeah.
We were asking, how do you pick your prices? How do you pick your discounts? How did you test this UX? And everyone was like, we guessed. So that was kind of the thread that we've been pulling on is like, hey, we can bring data to these questions and help you understand what's going to drive more profitability. And that snowballed into Intelligems as this today. Awesome. So price testing, offer testing, content testing, but all with the goal of boosting profit and figuring out,
When
you pay to get that visitor to the site.
When we were building Simply, I think we actually got connected in 2017 or 2018 as one of your early customers. So we did offer testing and shipping threshold testing on our brand, which we ultimately grew and sold. And now it's funny that we're working together as a partnership relationship. So Drew, that's amazing. I'm just going to share my screen here and just show some of the viewers the tool. Could you just give us a quick overview of today, 2024, 2025, what Intelligems does, its primary value prop, how brands are using it?
So I'll explain profit optimization. Theory there is you're spending more than you ever have to drive traffic to your site. CAC is up. You're probably optimizing that a ton. Yet when that visitor lands, how do we extract the most expected profit from them? Like that's the core question we try to answer through all of our features. And we're always adding new ones to help brands do that. Like get the maximum expected profit from a customer to improve those e-com economics. And you can think of it as like, I'll hit on these shortly, but we can improve the profitability or profit per visitor by improving the conversion rate. More people buying, all things equal, is going to be good. We can improve it by boosting AOV. There's some fixed costs. So if we can get someone to buy more on that first order, that's going to be good. Or we can improve profit per visitor by boosting the margin percentage on your orders. And so there's a whole bunch of tools. If you scroll down to that section below, a whole bunch of ways that we do this. Yeah, we can pause here. So price testing is kind of the feature that we're most well known for. You can actually A/B test different product price levels. Like, hey, should this mug be $30, $35, or $40? Let's measure the price elasticity and find that sweet spot. You start playing with your product prices and saying, all right, I'm selling at a higher rate. I'm selling lower conversion rate, but it's making me more overall profit. Now I need to go adjust my shipping threshold. How should that play in? So that's then the shipping testing. We can play around with like free shipping versus not, different free shipping thresholds and offers. Understand the sweet spot there. Okay, but now we also have bundles and new customer offers and the sales section, which the offer testing is very much a part of this. A brand, every brand, whether they admit it or not, is using some forms of offers. So let's go understand which are going to be most profitable and set up customers for success. And then content testing right above it, that's the catch-all. So anything that's not the dollars and cents, be it the imagery, the copy, the landing pages, the UX, the way that you're having your customers flow through the site, all of that can impact whether they buy and what they buy. So We power all of these through A/B testing, measure the profitability, and then personalizations right below it is our newest feature. And that's a way to, as you discover that different audiences or segments respond differently to different UX or different offers, personalization helps you roll out a differentiated site. So maybe that TikTok traffic, they love a free shipping offer. We're going to give them that as a welcome offer, but our Instagram traffic, they're going to get the classic 10% off. As you discover those insights about your audience, personalizations is the way that you roll that out and kind of give different segments more of what they are going to respond to, hopefully make more money for the brand.
Yeah. I'm actually going to jump and show the personalization right here because this was one of the, I wanted to show how we at Convertibles are using these tools to profit optimize for the brands that we're working with. So this is one brand where we have, you can see the control on the left, the variation on the right. And we ran $200,000 worth of data through this test, 4,000 orders, and we're like, oh, it's a wash. Okay. But the cool thing about Intelligems is we notice that a lot of times you'll see it's not actually a wash. It's killing it on mobile, but on desktop, it's actually losing. And this is where those personalizations really come into play. And in this case, we found on one particular channel, we had like a 99% stat sig of a huge lift. And I'll just show you why we love this particular feature. So here, we generated a massive lift. The stat sig here is 98% and really impactful monthly revenue. And if we want to roll this out, we just say, okay, we're going to roll this out. And Intelligems knows that this is the traffic source that we want to, and then boom, that's live on the site for that audience. Usually we see this mostly with like paid social, paid ads, or mobile desktop is how we've been using this feature, which is awesome.
Yep. Oh, dude, I love that. That's like a better demo than I could ever ask for. Like,
yeah.
And you can do it. Hey, people who come from a different area, I'm going to speak to them, about the summer or about their region. New versus returning is another one that we see people use a lot. Like, do I focus on the high level value proposition on the homepage for a new customer?
Yeah.
Whereas returning is more about the offer and trying to get them to the product that they need a refill on. Yeah. I love that you guys are using this. It's super powerful.
Works really great. So thanks for giving us the overview of those key features. I was going to show now the nuts and bolts because a lot of people watching this content will be brand owners that might be looking at using Intelligems or partnering with an agency or using the tool themselves. And what I love is actually you can combine some of these with an advanced test that you guys have enabled. And what this is, one of the reasons we love Intelligems because it plugs directly into Shopify's data. We don't need to finagle around with GA4 views or anything like that, even though you can plug into GA4. So for this particular test, for this particular brand, we were testing pulling some components out of the image carousel and embedding them on the product page. But this image carousel had a flickety JavaScript component, so when we pulled one image out, so we basically had to create a whole product template. And then we also needed to do some content styling on the one variation, so we had to use two types of tests. It turned out to be it's not that hard, but it's an advanced test because it combines two of your testing features. And we were able to, and this was based off the data insight that despite all of the sizing information this brand presents, sizing hesitations are the number one friction point that is preventing users from making a purchase. So we took their video that shows, how to size, 60 seconds long, really easy to understand, but nobody was watching it. So we created a lot of incentive. We featured it boldly on the product page. And this test resulted in a 12% lift and close to $400,000 a year in revenue. And we ran this to a 97% stat sig. So a really great way you can use content testing and theme product template. So every product template that had this video, it applied for which about 40-50% of their products, which was great.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I will say, if you're trying to combine tests and you want access to advanced tests, you can always just ping our support team. It's hidden by default, but very easy for us to unlock for people who, you want to change this template and make a content edit on top.
Yep. And I think one of the things that we see working with brands is we see a lot of brands that want to make big swings. They're like, we want to rebuild our full navigation. And oftentimes we do these things like this is for all of our clients, we hit them with, especially for bigger tests, with interactive prototypes of what we're going to build. Then we build it and we test it. And for this particular brand, we rebuilt their navigation on desktop, on mobile. Desktop, it was a mega menu. On mobile, it was a menu like this. resulted in about a 10% lift, and that was great. And that was a theme test, and it was really involved. We had wireframes along the way, and we got about a 10% lift. But just to bring home the point that like sometimes making sure you know what you're testing is just as if not more important. So for a different brand, a series of very simple content tests over the period of about this is our sort of tracker here, over the period of about 6 months, 5 months, we've run 25 tests and we've added $48,000 in revenue to this particular brand. Most of it coming from 2 tests. One of them where, again, as we go through the data, and we see this with a lot of subscription brands, even though everybody says, oh, it's easy to cancel, it's not going to be any issues, people still have hesitations about subscribing, giving that recurring charge on their credit card. So here for this brand, they say cancel anytime. We tested cancel anytime easily. We'll refund every cent on our guarantee for any reason. We said we'll refund every cent hassle-free, and then we bolded them. This is adding literally 2 words and bolding it, and took a pretty quick amount of time. So in the one case, we rebuild navigation. This was a 4-week development push. There was QA, there was wireframes, there was collaboration with the brand, resulted in about a 10% lift. Here we add 2 words and bold the text, and we added 16% to revenue per visitor, and that's a subscription revenue, and that is at a 94% stat sig. And this was part of a series of content tests that we ran. Another one where we cleaned up the presentation of their offer. It's a subscription box with a bunch of add-on components, and that's on 18% lift, just the presentation of the offer. So it's not just your offer, it's the presentation of the offer, and in particular, those emotional sort of hesitations people have before they make their purchase. And oftentimes you think you've addressed them, but you haven't.
Yeah, I've heard that phrase risk reversal used before, which I like a lot, which is
Right.
a new visitor, they came to you from an ad, they don't know what this is. Like there's some risk involved in making this new purchase online,
Right.
Even 30 years into e-commerce. And so how can you just make them feel at ease about that decision? Like what can you display or say? And it often doesn't cost anything. Like, 60-day happiness guaranteed. Okay, most of the returns were going to happen by then anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It just like gets people over the line. And I love that roadmap too.
Yep.
To your point, some are very easy tests to set up. Some are big lifts to set up. That doesn't always correlate with the lift.
Yep.
So like it's one of the great things about working with an agency or with Convertibles is, you guys manage the roadmap. But even if you're doing this yourself, write down all the ideas, throw them in, because there may be some that are long polls. You're going to need a month of design to get it live. Some things you may just be able to like set up in an hour and get going and collecting data while you wait in the big ones.
Exactly. This is a brand, I wanted to show you this, Drew. This is a brand we've been working with since the beginning of the year, since January. And we mapped, just before this call, I mapped their conversion rate onto just into a chart. Wow. This is what Intelligems does to brands. We took them from a 1 to a 1.5% conversion rate over 10 months. And that was through a series of about 30 tests, diligently running a program, constantly looking for the highest leverage thing to test. It may be a bigger swing, it may be a small component, but this is like, for us at Convertibles, this is our core product, and we're so proud to be able to present these kind of wins that we get for brands.
That's awesome. I can claim no credit for that. We're just, we're helping you guys measure and implement. But you guys did all the hard work for that.
It's all on the back of your tool. So, Drew, this is really helpful. I really just wanted to get users and viewers to meet you and see the tool, see the power of the tool, especially for Shopify brand owners. The last thing I wanted to ask you, Drew, is why Intelligems? There's a lot of conversion rate optimization tools, personalization tools out there that brands can look at. But why you guys? Why are you the best choice?
Yeah, there's a few reasons why people, when they evaluate different ones, they tell me that they chose us and why customers stick with us. So number one, the focus on profit through the results throughout all of it, people really value. And generally, like there's a ton of depth of data. To your point, there's zero setup on the data side. It just makes it easy to understand, like, was this impactful? Can I tell my boss that I made this much extra dollars or improved conversion rate this much. The data is easy to understand, but can also go really deep with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we really try to focus on impact. The second thing is we just have a huge variety of ways that you can set up a test, which can sometimes admittedly be overwhelming. And people are always free to reach out and we'll do onboarding sessions with everyone. We can do theme tests or template tests and test an offer through Shopify functions or test a tier discount or a price or a shipping rate. The fact we're the only people who can do all of that easily with Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
And, that combination of tools, just anything you can dream up is possible. And things like pricing and shipping and offers have historically been under tested.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of low hanging fruit there. So they're really complex to do. And I think we do a nice job of abstracting away the complexity and just getting to the point through the product for, what are you trying to test? Let's do that together. And then third, I think, we have a great network of partners who help make our customers successful. I really pride ourselves on our support. We have done this before. We've done this for a long time across our team. So, we pride ourselves on our responsiveness, and our number one company value is be helpful. So I think people stick with us because, you may run into questions or maybe issues, but they know that they're going to get a helpful and receptive response from us.
Yep. Yeah, I can attest to that. We've been with you guys. Well, we were with you guys as customers for years in 2016, and then as agency partners for the last 2 years. And you and your whole team have been super responsive. So appreciate that. Drew, I think we're at time. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for overviewing the Intelligems tool and giving some color on some of these powerful features and how brands are using it. So my call to action to any brand that's watching this is get Intelligems installed on your site. There's so many tools that you can use. Feel free to book a call with us at Convertibles. We are happy to take a look at your site. In advance of any call, we will provide 1 to 2 interactive wireframes of some of the most exciting A/B tests that we see possible on your brand, as well as a usability audit as we go through your site. And I think once brands get to about that $1 million a year in revenue, maybe a little earlier, they can really start looking at A/B testing tools like Intelligems as a way to get a competitive edge and grow their brands.
Love it. Yeah, you can find us at Intelligems.io.
Cool.
Or just talk to Clay. Use them. They'll bring us in.
Love it. Drew, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Clay.